We are delighted to host Dr. Loretta Sanders on this webinar. Dr. Sanders epitomizes excellence as a multi-award-winning leader, pastor, educator, and transformation coach. Formerly chairing the UAE G100 for Education and Scholarship, she's celebrated globally, named Asia's 2024 most influential leader and iconic speaker. With over 23 years of educational expertise, Dr. Loretta ignites change, empowering individuals and institutions alike. Her accolades, including the Emirates' Finest Business Inspirational Leadership Award and the Global Woman Leadership Honor, attest to her impact. Dr. Loretta's magnetic presence and compelling narrative, drawn from her expatriate experiences, inspire audiences worldwide, reinforcing her resounding message, "You can do it." Taking a critical look at the topic, what's next? Life after transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, make welcome Dr. Loretta Sanders.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I have live with me Dr. Loretta Sanders, and it's such an excitement to have you with us. Good day, Dr. Loretta. Nice to join you. Have you joined us today?
Thank you so very much for having me. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. Hello. Hi.
Hi. All right. So I know we've just gone through your video profile, right? But we'd like to hear from what we usually call the horse's mouth. So talk to us. Who exactly is Dr. Loretta Sanders?
Ooh, that's a hot question. Dr. Loretta Sanders is a pastor, a leader, a mother, a grandmother, and a friend. I wear many hats as well as coaching and public speaking. I am one of those people that believe in using every gift that God has given me. I basically am stationed here in Dubai. I've been in the United Arab Emirates for the last 12 years. My church is 7 years old. I initially came here as an educator, which I still love to do from time to time. I still work with teachers. That's still my passion. And that's pretty much what I do. That's pretty much me in a nutshell.
All right, thank you very much. So you mentioned there that you started off as an educator, but you kind of have moved into other parts. Can you talk to us about the inspiration or what prompted this move, so to say?
So I'm still in educate. I think I'm always going to be an educator at heart. So let me fix that. I'm always going to be an educator at heart. But initially I came here to work within the school systems. And as the years progressed on, I already was a leader before I came. So as I began to understand the system, then that's when I said, okay, I think I can do better serving more schools than serving one. Because I was one of those people that actually came here with the vision that I can make a difference in the world by helping children of other nationalities and other cultures, that I was going to make a difference. So with that in mind, when I decided to leave one school building and just start consulting, I started consulting with that same thought in mind, that I was going to make a difference in the lives of children. So that's how it started. And I started out just doing professional development, and I'm a curriculum and instructional specialist. So I would write curriculum for schools if they need it. I would do professional development. So that's kind of how I started the journey outside of the classroom. And then as I began to move as a pastor, as I began to move into the seat of pastoring, COVID hit. And during COVID, I actually had members that came to my house. And during COVID, we were actually locked in. Like, people in other parts of the world were able to move around. No, we were locked in the house.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't go outside. And so I had members who were actually, having mental health problems and concerns. They were worried about family members back home, and they were kind of depressed about being locked in and being by themselves. So I said, okay, how can I fix them? While as a curriculum specialist, I was already a coach. Coaching comes naturally because I'm the person that comes in the building and change everything that you're doing. And I need to convince you to do what I've changed. So coaching kind of came naturally. So it was just having a better understanding of the psychology of people. And I just went from there. I went and got my doctorate in counseling, and also became a certified NLP coach, just with the state of mind of saying, I want to be able to have more tools in my toolbox. So the next time somebody comes to my door for help, I am adequately equipped to help them get to where they need to be. So that's kind of how the journey of from classroom to coaching entrepreneur leader, that's kind of how that journey took place.
Fantastic. That's an amazing journey. And thank you for telling us that story. Now, the title of what it is that we're talking about today is What Next? Life After Transformation. Please speak to us about the inspiration behind this topic. Because someone will be wondering, what next? Life after transformation. Where did that come from? Please speak to us about the inspiration and motivation behind that topic.
So that topic comes from a couple places. Personally, in my personal life, I had to move from where I started to where I am now. I had to take a look at my life and say, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be this person anymore. Once that decision was made that I didn't want to be that person anymore, I didn't have any role models in my life that could help me become the person that I needed to become. So that's where we talk about life after the transformation. Also, as a pastor, as I shared with you before, it's, the story of the gate called Beautiful, and the man sitting outside the gate called Beautiful. And at that moment when he grabbed Peter's hand, he had a decision to make. He had a choice to make, and it wasn't just about getting up, but who does he become after he grabbed Peter's hand? So when we talk about after the transition, we talk about after the transformation, we're talking about that space and time when you decide, okay, I'm no longer going to be the victim of molestation. How do I build healthy relationships? I'm no longer going to walk around and be part of the generational curse of poverty and being poor. Okay, how do I set my mindset so that I can begin to start building wealth? And so that when we talk about life after the transformation, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about that moment when you've made the decision to change. Where do you go from there?
That's quite profound. So what you're saying is, yes, from time to time, people can experience some form of transformation. There's a moment in time where you make a decision, okay, this is the time for me to change. But then change comes over time. So what do you do in that time is what it is that you're talking about. That's quite fantastic. So could you share some of the strategies or practices for maintaining the momentum of the transformation? Because once that transformation is there, how do you get to maintain the momentum even when you're faced with challenges? Because the fact that you've accepted a change, the fact that there's been a light bulb moment and you think you want to change things, but doesn't mean that the challenges will not come. So how do you suggest that we can maintain that momentum after the transformation?
First thing you have to do is you have to educate yourself on where you're going. You have to know where it is you're trying to get to. And whether that be to start downloading it from scriptural text, downloading it from social media experts in that area, or taking a course or a class. Because it's hard to, I told a friend the other day, my dream car used to be the Cadillac Escalade because that was the only car that I ever saw. That was it. I wanted with the Cadillac Escalade with the rims and the spinning tires. I'm aging myself at this moment. But that was the dream car. And then I laid eyes on the Rolls Royce Dawn. Do you understand? So when I laid my eyes on that Rolls Royce Dawn, I don't even want to look back at the Cadillac no more. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing. When I became educated on what was available, when I was able to lay eyes and see on what was ahead of me and what was possible, then that gave me the staying power in order to be able to continue to press on and keep moving. Educating yourself on it is first. The other thing that you have to do is change your community and change your surroundings. And I know for some people that may be a little bit more difficult than others, but sometimes you just have to go through that process of being lonely. Sometimes you just have to sit there by yourself and remove yourself, because if you want to know who you are, look at the people that's you surrounding yourself with. That'll tell you who you are. If you want to know how wealthy you are, look at the people that you're surrounding yourself with. Because if we're surrounding ourselves with people who are always in the same boat that we are, it's much more difficult for us to learn how to get out of the boat. So you have to change your community, your surroundings. Who are you talking to? Always, always, always find yourself a mentor. Seek wise counsel. Find a mentor, a leader, or somebody who's already doing what you're trying to do. Sit down, humble yourself, and listen to what they have to say. Because you don't know everything. No man knows everything. Learn from those who are already doing what it is that you're trying to do. And so when those times and those moments come, when you're like, because you're going to face opposition. You live long enough, you got problems, I got problems, all God's children got problems. You live long enough, you're going to face them problems. But when you have a king, when you surround yourself with a good community, when you have yourself surrounded with a good mentor, or you've read books from leaders who've already done what you're trying to do, or even if you get yourself in the word and you're praying, you're going to be able to stand, because you're going to have the information that you need to stand, the information that you need to know that your situation is going to change if you just keep going.
That's quite profound. You've mentioned quite some very valuable tips there. You've talked about your environment, which is very key. When you've achieved that level of transformation, your environment is very vital in sustaining that for you. And you've also talked about getting a mentor or someone that has traveled that journey before that can help you on that journey. Those are some very, very valuable tips. Thank you very much. And we have a lot of people coming up, especially on YouTube. I see Nicole. Nicole is joining us from Maryland. That's fantastic. I see Thomas Schneider as well. I don't know where she's joining us from, or he or she's joining us. Thank you very much. Just keep your comments coming in. If you have any questions, we'll be able to take them from here. Now, continue with this conversation. You know, many people struggle with the concept of seeing the new versions of themselves, you know, probably coming from the experiences they've had. Life has been so difficult, and, you know, yes, they have the light bulb moment, but they are struggling with moving away or seeing themselves in another form. How would you recommend they can come out of this? Because they like we talked about what you were limited, what you wanted in life was based on what you could see. So all they have seen are the negatives of their life, things that have not been working well. How can they now come out from there to be able to see that it is possible for me to experience this transformation? Please talk to us about that.
First things first, you have to give yourself some grace. We're all human. Even Jesus Christ himself said, I'm not perfect. The only one that's perfect is God. So we first have to give ourselves grace. You have to give yourself grace enough to know that we've all made mistakes. And even the people that's running around, running their mouth, talking about you, they've made mistakes too. You just don't know about theirs. That's likely the only difference. And so when you get in that place where you need to see yourself differently, when it's like, okay, I don't want to be this person anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. You have to change the dialogue that you have with yourself. We can be our own worst enemies. We can be our own worst critics. We see what nobody else sees. There are certain things that we do behind closed doors that don't nobody know about it but you and God. But when you get out in public, it makes you believe, and your mind will tell you that, oh, they know, they seen me, or they know something about me, or I radiate my negativity. I radiate that thing that's wrong with me. And we have to change the dialogue. It literally starts with changing the dialogue with what you say to yourself. You have to tell yourself, I am beautiful. It is what it is. I'm beautiful. my situation will change. I know this is what it looks like today, but tomorrow is going to be something different if I just keep on going. Tomorrow it'll change. That just as sure as the sun rises, things will change. And so you have to, the first thing is you have to give yourself grace. And the second thing is you have to change that self-dialogue. And then it goes back to what I said again, find yourself a different community. Because if you find yourself a loving, caring, supporting community, that community can help uplift you and build you up and bring you up. I don't care where I meet a sister at. I don't care who she is or where she is. I always go, hey, beautiful, how are you? Because I want to uplift you. Oh, you got some cute shoes on. You know, just to encourage one another. And that's just understanding and knowing that we all need encouragement. So I would say that would be the way to start seeing yourself differently. And when you start seeing yourself differently, the other thing is you have to start doing differently. If you want to see yourself differently, you have to start doing differently. Because if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting the same results over and over and over again. So when you, like we said from the beginning, if you want to do something different, then you may have to change your friends. You may have to change your community. You have to change these things. So you no longer see yourself as that person, but as someone that has been set apart for your purpose.
Wow, that's very, very profound. So you mentioned grace there, which is very, very key. And then you also talked about changing your self-dialogue. That's what it starts with. What do you say to yourself? What conversations do you say to yourself? You know, there are several times, at every point in time, there are several voices that are speaking to you. You have your own voice, you have the voice of God, you have the voice of the devil, you have several voices that are speaking to you. But what are you saying to yourself in that time? That's very, very important. And then you said something there that if you have done something, the way you have acted in the past is the reason why you are where you are right now. So if you are going to make a change going forward, then you have to be able to change what you're doing. So you have to start doing something different from what it is that you've done before. And those are some very, very valuable tips that it is that you've given us. Thank you so very much. Now, you know, many times I have conversations with people and there are levels of incompetencies, and one of the worst forms of incompetencies where the unconscious incompetencies, where you're not even aware that you're not competent and all of that. Now, with your work in leadership and empowerment journey as a transformational leader, what role do you see empowerment playing in the journey towards personal and professional fulfillment? And for someone that feels, you know what, why do I need a transformational coach, or why is this necessary for me at this time? What would you be saying to such a person?
A coach sees what you don't see. We as a transformational coach, or it's just like if Michael Jordan needed a coach, if Kobe Bryant needed a coach, if Dr. Dre needed to coach Eminem, and again, I'm aging myself, you know, so if all of these people needed coaches and mentors, we too, and these are people that we consider greats. I can't see the comments. So if anybody is checking on who Eminem is, I like him. I used to like Eminem. So we just go stop right there. I'm like, I can't see the comments. But if these people needed coaches to help them through, and these are people that we consider greats, then surely you and I could use a coach too. And coaches help us by seeing what we don't see. Coaches also draw on their experience and their learning and the know-how that they've gained on how to help you get to the next level. Because sometimes what is blocking us, like one of the clients that I work with, she wanted to write a book. And after we started talking and we started going through the process of her writing her book, we realized that her blockage in not writing her book wasn't from right now. It was from something that happened in her childhood from way back years ago when she didn't get the applaud or the approval that she wanted. So it blocked her from going forward because she was afraid of what people would say about the product the book that she was trying to put forward. So I said that to say, when you're working with a coach can pick those kinds of things up. They can see those kinds of things. And again, and coach can also help you with that self-dialogue, because as you're having a conversation with your coach hears what you are not saying.
Mm.
And as we listen and hear what you are not saying, then we're able to pick up on what is that inner dialogue that you're having with yourself, so that we can redirect you to deal with what you're not dealing with. So having a transformational coach or someone that or someone that can, or a regular coach, or there's coaches, all kind of coaches, but just having a coach that can talk you through, that can see what you can't see, and have the training in them, they can really be beneficial to your growth and your continued success after you've decided to make the transformation or change.
That's amazing. So just in case you're out there and you're still wondering why you need a transformational coach, or why you need a coach at all, you've just heard it from Dr. Sanders herself. These are some of the benefits. And yes, I mean, we know who Eminem is. And just in case you're out there and you're still wondering who's Eminem and all of that, I mean, you can DM me afterwards. I will have a conversation about that. That's fantastic. Now, one of the reasons why we have set this up, like I said, is in commemoration of the International Women's Day, right? Because we're particular about empowering the minority community. So would you like to speak to that? I mean, in the world that we are today, do you think the women are given adequate opportunities at the table, the metaphorical table of leadership opportunities here? And if not, what are some of the things that you think can be done, maybe from the government perspective or from the individuals? Maybe you speak to the women themselves as well. What do you think the women can do to turn those tables around? Or more, what do you think the corporates, the organizations out there can do to empower these women to be at the table?
I think that's, one of the things that I can say for sure is, first, that's a loaded question. And second, because I'm a Westerner and I live in the East, I can tell you it's not the same thing. What's needed in one culture or in the West is not the same thing as the East. I often tell people that I gained my femininity in the East. I was allowed to be a woman. I was allowed to let my shoulders down. I was allowed to walk and find my power in my femininity. Where in the West, if I let my shoulders down and I walk in my femininity, it is seen as a sign of weakness. So when we talk about, I don't even really want to say empower. When we talk about allowing women to walk in what they already have within them, or unleashing what is already inside of them, I would say the thing that need for I would say for others who have those seats already is to be open, and to be open to women. We still have there's still that underlying thing that women should be at home with the children. They should not be leaders. I'm a pastor, I already heard that dialogue. They should not be leaders. That current still exists. Now, to the power to my sisters from every race, color, creed, and nationality, we have managed to be able to swim upstream. So even when the current is rough, there is still one that we're still pressing through and pushing through and cutting pathways for others to come behind us. So for the women, I would say, don't give up. Keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep going to school. Keep showing up to those meetings. Keep mentoring other women behind you. Keep creating pathways. It's the advice that I would give to women. Don't give up. Keep going. Do, as the young people say, do you, boo. Keep going. Don't stop. When it comes to organizations and businesses, I would say be open to women. Be open to what they have to say, because women walk with a different set of wisdom that a woman carries. And that's why God created us. He created us differently. He didn't replicate. We're not the same. We're different. And sometimes when there's a situation, a woman can have a different perspective on it that is just as valuable of that of a man. So I would say be open, but I would say there are women in positions of leadership. There are women entrepreneurs are killing it right now. Women, you don't want to let me sit at your table. It's okay. I'll build my own. So women are doing more than what they've ever done before. And I say bravo to my sisters. Keep going, keep doing what they're doing. But to organizations, I would say be open. Just open up. Just give them an opportunity. You'll be surprised how much further a woman can take your business. Speaking of entrepreneurship, there's a study out there that shows that women entrepreneurs do better than male entrepreneurs. When women are given the opportunity to be entrepreneurs, they do better than their male counterparts. Wow. So sisters, keep doing what you're doing.
Wow, yeah. I mean, I can feel the sisters jumping up on their feet right now. Sisters out there, she says, keep doing what it is that you're doing. Don't let anybody discourage you. As she rightly said, if you are not given a seat at the table, create your own table. I mean, those are some very profound words, and we're having a lot of comments going on YouTube right now. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Sanders. Now, you kind of mentioned there that you're from the West, you're presently in the East. Now, so you have worked internationally. How do the cultural differences influence the journey of transformation and leadership? How has that, working in those different climes, how have they shaped your journey, and how do the cultural differences affect the transformation and leadership?
I think for the cultural differences, as I said, the way that it affected my transformation more than anything else was, as I said, I was able to learn how to walk in the power of my femininity. There's power in being a woman. If you know how to, if there's power in that femininity. So the part of my journey and my transformation was once I learned how to walk in that power and who God created me to be, that's where I feel like part B of my journey began. When it comes to coming just from the West, just coming here, I can't say that there was really just a big difference in my career-wise. I was already on a trajectory when I came here. I just kind of pressed forward and just kept going with where I was headed once I came here. So I certainly would say, as far as my personal transformation, what contributed the most to my personal transformation was me finding my power and my femininity. And once I found that, then I was able to walk into the rooms and to sit in places that I probably normally would not have had the opportunity to sit in had I walked into it or approached it as a strong, powerful, with masculine energy, if you will.
Wow, thank you. That is really, really amazing. Now, we know that in the course of your career, right, you've received several awards, several accolades. I mean, if I begin to mention them, I'll probably spend the whole evening trying to mention all of those. Now, which of those awards or recognition, right, holds the most important significance to you? That's one. And also, how do you leverage on your successes, your past successes, to inspire others, maybe particularly the female folks out there? How do you leverage on that to help them in their own transformation journey as well?
So the first part of the question is which award. I think it was November, I received the Emirates Business Award for Inspirational Leadership. That by far it really means the most to me thus far. And because I got that award, not because I was a coach or not because I was just a leader, but because I was a pastor. For those of you who don't know, I pastor the only African-American church in this country. So I got that award. So when you read the article in that award, it talks about how my faith and my and how I use my faith, my teaching, my training, how all of that comes together to create this leader who comes together to create this person. So that by far, being recognized for being a pastor in this country, that by far, if nothing else, if I don't get another one, it by far is probably the most that award I hold dear. I hold the most. Okay, and tell me, wait, ask me the second part of the question again, because it was two parts. What was the second one?
Yes, so the second part of the question was how do you use your success in the past to empower and transform others out there, especially the women folk out there?
For me, I inspire others by first telling them about my journey. My testimony is no secret. If you watch enough videos, and I seen the clip from the video with me and EJ, energetic EJ, my testimony is no secret, and I empower others by actually telling them the truth and telling them my story. And those who've known me over the years, who've watched me come from being the project girl and outside of Pittsburgh to me growing and going through being in the military, to being a school teacher, from being a school teacher to a leader, to being a pastor, to being a coach, and to all of these things. My journey was a progressive journey. I didn't start out here. I didn't, I actually came up through the ranks, if you will. I started out in the projects, I started from the bottom and now we're here. I literally, so to empower others, I share that journey and I tell them about my journey. I tell them about the time in that season when I was a single mom and I didn't have food to feed my children, but God provided. I tell them about those seasons in my life when I didn't get the job. Matter of fact, I have my book in my book that I wrote, Take the Leap I got a copy right here. If you don't have it, make sure you grab a copy of my book, Take the Leap in Your Desert Experiences on Amazon. Grab a copy. So in my book, I tell the story about when there was a job that I actually got passed up for, that there was a position where and I was the only one, me and one other person was the only person qualified for the job. And I didn't get it. They gave it to somebody else. But do you know that was the best thing that could have ever happened to me in my career, was the fact that they didn't give me that job? Because I was able to grow and expand beyond anything I could have thought about, because they simply didn't give me the job. So that's how I empower others, by sitting on your platform, by sitting on others' platforms, by writing books, by preaching on Sunday morning. And I live out loud. I live out loud. Look, this is, I don't pretend to be somebody or something I'm not. I'm human. I'm Loretta. This is who my daddy named me Loretta. And that's who I am. And so I live my life in that way so that people can see and understand. And that's my empowerment. And I also, now the other thing that I do on the other side of that is I have the Bold and Brave Women Conference that's coming up here in April. I pull on other women who are doing great things. I have other coaches that are going to be on the platform. And I pull in everybody. Hey, you want to speak? Come on, do your thing, girl. When I go to some of these rooms that I sit in, I'm always, I call you want to go? Come on, let's go to this networking event. These people, they do blockchain and cryptocurrency. We don't got to know anything about it, but it's a great place to meet people. You know what I mean? I'm pulling people in with me. I pull people in with me. So on one side, I share my story. I'm an open book. I share my story. On the other side, whenever I enter rooms, I take others with me. I create pathways. I left the job, when I left my job that I had, I trained up another female behind me so that when I left, there was nobody else that could fill my shoes but her. So I created and opened the door for that. And now she's sitting in a principal's position herself.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, these are some real powerful tips, and I'm sure I hope people are getting as much value that I am getting from this. These are some very valuable things that you've talked about. And you mentioned energetic EJ there. Incidentally, that's a colleague of mine. I've also had her on this show in the past as well. She's also had to share, which is fantastic. And you also talked about your conference that is coming up very soon. And earlier we were having a conversation how Catherine O'Farrell is going to be a part of that. And Catherine is also someone that I have worked with in the past. Amazing things there. Now, you've really shared some very valuable tips. But in the course of our conversation, you mentioned how you're pastoring the only African American church in that country. And for those that are wondering why you can be talking about that country, you live in the UAE, right? So that's the reason why you have mentioned that. Now, so you have so many odds against you. You're a woman, you're far away from home, you're living in a different environment. You're a pastor, like you rightly said. Have there been times where you felt like throwing in the towel? And if there are, how did you rise above those times? Because you've talked to us about your successes, and some people might feel like, well, okay, she's got everything easy for her, and that's the reason why. Well, you kind of mentioned how at some point you were a single mom and you couldn't feed. But have there been times where you felt like, you know what, I'm going to give all of this up and move on? And how were you able to come out of such times?
Let me just first off, let me just say it this way, but God. That's it. I don't have a great formula. I'm gonna start with that statement, but God. And I can't tell you, I'm gonna tell you the speech I got. I got 2 grown children. I ain't got nobody to feed but Loretta. I'm going home. I'm taking my pocketbook and I'm going to the house. I can work at Walmart and feed myself. That's the speech. Memorized. And so And when I get to that moment, when I get to those spaces, that's when God taps me on the shoulder and say, there's a lot of water between here and in the US. And if I put Jonah in a fish, I would hate for people to throw you out of a plane while you're on your way back. So I suggest you sit down, right? Like something dialogue, because we can't say God is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. And act like he won't do what he's done before. If he blessed before, he'll sit you down before, So when it comes to those moments, when it gets in those times when I have given myself that speech many times, I can't tell you how many times that I've sat in this house by myself and just simply just cried my eyes out, where I've stood in the shower and said, God, if you don't do something, if you don't fix this, because the opposition that I face is not opposition that I can fight with flesh and blood. That's the truth. So I have to first, like I said earlier, encourage myself. Loretta, if you've come this far, you can truly keep going. That's first. If he brought you out of this, God will bring you out of that. That's the first thing. I start with encouraging myself. Second is I have wise counsel. I have friends, a couple, that I can call and be myself. You know what I mean? I can call and I can say, hey, this is what's going on and this is what's happening and these people are getting on my nerves, or this is what, and just run it. And they are able to listen to me long enough for me to talk myself through a solution, or they know how to pray for me or talk to me and give me a solution. And the thing is, I know which friend to call. So again, it goes back to the same thing I was saying before. Community. Having that conversation with yourself, that inner dialogue, that community, and knowing when you've had enough. That's the other part. There comes moments and times when I have to leave. I just have to go. I need to go home for a minute, because going home, at least for me, or some people choose to go on vacation, is a recharging station. It's a place to recharge, to get away from what I'm thinking, to allow myself to come down. Because by the time you got to the place where you are ready to go, or where you're ready to give up, or where you're ready to quit, things have compounded. And you're not looking and you're not seeing everything. Things are, it just seems like, if it ain't one thing, it's something else. And it just starts to compound. So you have to sometimes remove yourself from where you are so that you can refresh your mind and refresh your thinking. And so I will go home. I'll go home and play with my grandbabies for about 3 days, and then that will make me remember why I go home and play with my grandbabies, or you know what I mean. And again, they give me. And once I look at them and I see what I want for them, that gives me purpose. That's what keeps me purpose. When I want to give up on the church, when I be like, you know what, these for God, these your people. You take them. These is yours. I'm going home. I look at the little children that are in my church. I have a group of little ones. It was always the little ones that kept me when I wanted to quit and give up. When we first started the church, the little ones used to surround my feet. The adults couldn't get to me. And they would tell me all their stories. And it was the little ones, because I look at them and I say, God, I want them to have you. And I know if I shut this thing down and if I leave, then they won't learn about you. There's too many other things for them to learn about. I'm going to ride this out so Isabella can know about you. So we can have Easter speeches, and we can have Black history programs, and we can have the adults are the adults. They can do what they want to do. But it's the babies. And that's what kept me rooted, is purpose. It was the purpose in that.
Wow. I mean, it's amazing to hear you share your stories like this. Because like I said, a lot of people may see the success stories without understanding that there are other stories on the journey to that success. And it's amazing to hear you share your stories. And you've said that even when things seem to be going south for you, you remember something, your purpose. Purpose is key, and that's what keeps you going when the going gets tough. Fantastic. I see someone here on YouTube, that's Ambassador Share Itself. She says she pulls others. She's corroborating what it is that you're talking about. Thank you very much. Now, we know we are enjoying this conversation and we wish we could have you forever, but we know we need to gradually start bringing this home. So, Dr. Sanders, imagine you woke up one morning, right, and just about everything we knew about Dr. Loretta Sanders had gone down the drain. Everything has been wiped out by some miraculous, magical, stuff, and no one has ever heard about you. No one ever knew you. Everything has gone, and you had to do life all over again. Where would you start from, and what are you going to do differently this time?
I think if I had a choice of where I would start from, I think I would start probably now in my 50s. Because I realized when I turned about 48, about between 47, 48, yes, I'm aging myself now for real. That was the moment when I became me. Do you understand what I mean? Like, that was when I said, there's Loretta. I was no longer who my mother wanted me to be. I was no longer who my father desired for me to be. I was no longer who my children needed me to be. I was no longer who I had to be for the church folks. I seen her. And I love her. So if I had to start again, I would probably say it would be probably in my about 48, 49. Because I love her. I love who she is. I love the passion, the love, the kindness that she has and that she's willing to show others. What I would do differently, I think if I had to do anything in my life different than what I've done before, I would have taken the time, or I would have gone to counseling to heal myself from some of the trauma that I faced early in life. Because that's why I realized, that's why I love the 48, 49-year-old Loretta, because she done the work to heal herself. Had the 24, 25-year-old Loretta done the work to heal herself, there was a lot of situations that brokenness and heartbreak and disappointments that she faced that she would not have had to have faced had she healed herself. So that would be what I would do differently, as well as if I had to start, that's where I would start.
Fantastic. Thank you so very, very much. Now we are gaining so much value. So if people wanted to connect with Dr. Sanders, if we wanted to find out more about what you do, or maybe even secure your services in one way or the other, what's the best place for them to go to? And you mentioned your book earlier. Do you want to just talk about the book again? And give us a synopsis of the book and why people need to get it, and how it is they can get the book. You can just do that for us quickly.
Okay, so for the book, the book is found on Amazon. This is Taking the Leap in Your Desert. And this is a book about transformation. This is that walks you through the change. And I give you all the steps to changing and transformation. But coming out next month on the 15th of April, I will be dropping the Audible to this book, as well as a guide for this book will be dropping on the 15th of April next month. Also coming out in April, I also have my new book coming out, The Spiritual Gifts. How do you identify what are your spiritual gifts, and how do you identify them? And then once you identify them, how do you use them? So as far as the book, the book is on Amazon. The Audibles, of course, will be on Audible, as well as you'll be able to find it on Amazon. If you would like to reach me, you can reach me. My email address is drlorettas@gmail.com. Very simple. You can remember it that way. If Sarah is on the line, my assistant, Sarah, please put it in the chat, or somebody from Loving Grace, please drop it in the chat. It's drlorettas@gmail.com. If you're looking for my website, if you want to reach me on the web, again, it's drlorettasanders.com. It's every one word, my name. On Instagram is Dr. DOCTOR_Loretta. You can find me on Instagram there. And of course, on LinkedIn is Dr. Loretta Sanders that you can find on LinkedIn. And then also Facebook is LGA Pastor Loretta. That's on that you can find me on Facebook. If you're my business page and all about my business and all of those kind of great things, that's where you go to LinkedIn. But if you want to know about the church, that's where you go to Instagram and Facebook. Kind of split my life up into two places. And you can go there to find it there. So that's how you get in touch with me. That's how you find me. If you're in Dubai, we would love to have you to join us at the Bold and Brave conference happening next month, April 19th through the 21st. And on the 21st, we'll be celebrating 7 years with Loving Grace. To God be the glory. We will have 7 years. So we invite you to join us. And again, if you want to know more about the Bold and Brave conference, you can find it at boldandbrave.com. So that's all about me.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I mean, those are very, very amazing things that you shared with us. The Bold and Brave conference. I would also try to, find out what more about that, especially because I know a number of people that are going to be speaking there, also fantastic colleagues of mine. So there you go, people. You can reach her on multiple platforms. And if you can't find her, just reach out to me. I'll point you in the right direction on how to find her. Thank you very much. So just before we let you go, Dr. Sanders, what final words do you have for people out there on how to move up from that form of transformation? What next? Life after transformation. Just a few passing words that you'd have for people out there.
My last passing words. Before I give my last passing words, I do want to say this one thing. The Bold and Brave conference about people is really literally about people who are bold enough to make the change and brave enough to walk in it. So our speakers will be talking about how do you maintain the transformation after you've decided to make it. Everything from health, wellness to entrepreneurship, buying houses, everything. We got you covered. So, and my final last words would be to anyone is give yourself grace. Baby, give yourself grace. Give yourself time to grow and to learn. Love yourself. No one is going to love you as much as you love you. Love yourself. Take care of yourself. And above all, trust God. He's the one that won't leave you or forsake you. Trust him in all that you do, and he will lead, guide, and direct your path. And that would be my advice to anyone after you, if you want to sustain and maintain that transformation, that would be my advice for you.
Oh, wow. Thank you so very much, Dr. Loretta Sander. It's been an amazing, amazing conversation. I have enjoyed every bit of this conversation, and I'm sure everybody that has joined us, a lot of conversations going on our different platforms as well. Everybody has enjoyed this. So on behalf of myself and everybody at the Tasty team, we would like to appreciate you for taking out time out of your very, very busy and tight schedule to be with us on this today, and we really appreciate you for that. And for everyone as well out there, like we said, this is just one of the many other events we have lined up this month in celebration of our International Women's Day. And also next month, in the month of April, the Impact Leadership Conference will be touching base in the city of Birmingham. That's the first time we'll be holding the conference in Birmingham. But like I said earlier, it's a hybrid event. So even if you're not in and around Birmingham and you can't make it in, if you can make it in, fantastic. Like I said, the Manchester event, we had a lot of people that traveled from far places to be a part of that. But even if you can't make it in, we will bring the conference right to your doorstep. And guess what? It's at absolutely no cost to you. We are bringing you the best possible speakers you can have worldwide, and we are bringing it to you at no cost to you. It's not cheap, but it is free. It is free to you because someone else has paid the bills for you, and all you have to do is secure your registration. So if there's any part of any one of our team, you can just please drop the links in the comments, so all our platforms, people that want to register to be a part of that. So ladies and gentlemen, that has been our webinar today. It has been an amazing one, anchoring this for you once again, and very shortly we'll bring in another wonderful speaker to you. But until then, remember, there's greatness on your inside, and the world is waiting for you to birth and manifest your greatness. Go out there and be profitable, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.